available bandwidth efficiently. Okay, so using a technique called a spread spectrum. Okay, so using spread spectrum, how we can utilize the available bandwidth efficiently. So what happens in spread spectrum is, so we combine signals from different sources. So the same thing happened even in the multiplexing. Okay, we used to get the data from different sources. Okay, we used to get the data from different sources, and that is combined and transmitted. Okay. Okay, so here also the same technique, but the same method technique is used different. Okay, so here we combine signals from different sources to fit into larger bandwidth. So, but our goal are to prevent the uh, like preventing from the attacks. Okay, throttling means you need to avoid attack. Like the somebody else should not uh, read your data. Okay, they should not check your data what is transmitting, and also jamming. So these are the terms you will come to know like when you study the network security. So jamming means there is one technique called denial of service in the network security. Like there will be some third person, okay? So they will be keep on sending the data, unnecessary data, and make the server busy. So that technique we call it as denial of service. Okay, so due to that, what happens? It leads to network traffic, and there may be possibility of jamming. So it may not send the data at the expected time. So these are the different issues arises, and that has to be taken care when we are using all these methods. Okay, so here, what is the main goal here? So to achieve these goals, spread spectrum techniques are added redundancy. Okay, redundancy means what is the meaning of redundancy? Normally you will use this redundancy in database. Okay, as of now you are not studied. Redundancy means like extra information you are going to add, extra bits you are going to add to achieve this particular technique. Okay, so redundancy means adding extra information to your the original data, whatever it is coming. So this is one of the technique that can be used to utilize the uh, bandwidth efficiently. So in that there are two methods. So this spread spectrum having two methods. In today's class we'll discuss one method. So that is a frequency hopping spread spectrum. So you should be knowing what is the meaning of hopping. In the first chapter itself I told hop by hop transmission. So which layer is responsible for that? Okay, that is nothing but like node to node transmission. We call it as hop by hop transmission. So now first let's try to understand what exactly a spread spectrum indicates. Okay, what is the technique used to increase the utilization of the bandwidth? Okay, so here spread spectrum indicates, so signal that occupies bandwidth of B. Okay, so this is a signal that is coming from the source. So that is having bandwidth B, and E is spreaded out to occupy bandwidth of BSS. Okay, so now whatever the signal that is coming with a bandwidth B, so that is allowed to occupy the bandwidth. Okay, so that is allowed to occupy the bandwidth of BSS. So here SS indicates spread spectrum. So the bandwidth is spreaded. Okay, so through which the data can be sent now. So what exactly happens with respect to spread spectrum bandwidth? So all signals are spreaded to occupy the same bandwidth BSS. Okay, all signals means, so if you're just, let me just take the pen. It's always not just if it is a high capacity link. So as we have discussed in multiplexing, so the data is coming from multiple sources. So here also the data will come from multiple sources. Okay, so this hash should be spreaded across the bandwidth using a spread spectrum bandwidth. Okay, so how exactly the bandwidth is spreaded here? Okay, so this is the incoming signal, and these signals go through this spreaded spectrum bandwidth. So how exactly this spreaded spectrum bandwidth is designed? What is the technique used? So that we are going to discuss using those two methods, FHSS and DHSS. So signals are spread with a different code so that they can be separated at the receiver. So this is obviously when you are adding something to the incoming signal. So you just recall the modulation technique. Okay, we used to add carrier frequency to the incoming signal. So once it is reached at the destination, it has to filter out that carrier frequency and deliver the actual signal to the receiver. Okay, so that reverse operation, whatever it is done at the encoding at the sender side, it has to perform the reverse operation at the receiver side. So signals can be spread in the frequency domain, or it can be in the time domain. You should know what is the meaning of frequency domain and time domain. Just recall we have discussed in terms of multiplexing. Okay, so frequency means the whatever the available bandwidth, it is divided into number of channels. Okay, each channel having its own frequency. So at the same time, multiple sources can send the data using different frequencies, or we call it as channels. Okay, channel 1, channel 2 and channel 3. So this is in case of frequency domain. If it is time domain, okay, so complete channel capacity. A channel capacity is shared among multiple devices. But in case of time domain, what happens is, so it is going to divide into number of slot. Okay, so number of slots. So each slot is assigned to one of the particular incoming signal. Okay, so that particular device can send this duration of time. Okay, then it has to interrupt or it has to interleave. Yesterday I was explaining so many terms with respect to time domain multiplexing. Okay, so this is maybe for device 1, this is for device 2, and this should be equal interval of time. Okay, so how many slots it will be there in a frame? It depends on the number of incoming input signals. Okay, number of devices sending the data. So like this, you should know what is the main difference between frequency domain and time domain. Frequency domain, so here the frequency or the available bandwidth is shared among set of devices. Okay, that means the capacity of the link is shared among different devices. But here the capacity is not shared, but the time interval, it is going to divide the slot, whatever the bandwidth that is available, it will be divided into number of time slot, and during each time slot the particular device can send the data. So during that particular time, so it can utilize the capacity of the link fullest. Okay, so whatever the capacity of the link, so full capacity of the link can be used by the that particular device which is assigned to this time slot. Okay, so that is the main difference between what is the meaning of frequency domain and what is the meaning of time domain. So now here also we are going to follow this technique to understand how FHSS works. Okay, so where they will use this spread spectrum, so it is normally used in wireless applications, like how we have discussed in the previous class, multiplexing, where that can be used in radio television stations. Okay, to tune to a particular frequency or to tune to particular channel, so we can go with multiplexing. Okay, so now this spread spectrum, it is normally used in wireless applications. Okay, so it is normally used in wireless application. So what is the meaning of wireless here? So in the wireless application, so all stations use air as the medium for communication. Okay, so here it is going to use the air as the medium for communication. So whenever if air is used as a medium for communication, so it has to take some of the important point. Okay, so the what is the first goal if that is the case is station must be able to share the air medium. Okay, see air medium means like what is the range it is given. So everything it is going to matter when you're using the air as the medium. Okay, so share the air medium without interception by an attacker. Okay, so like attacker means the unknown person should not do some changes with respect to the signals. Okay, so you should not able to interact with the signal, you should not able to access the data. Consider I am sending some sequence of data, okay, from device 1 to device 2, or this is sender and receiver. So there may be the attacker here. Okay, so he may try to observe what data I am sending. Okay, so what data, so how he will come to know? So he'll be having some technique to access the data that is transmitting through the media or the link. Okay, he'll be able to analyze that data. So yeah, there are once again different types of attackers. You will be learning those things in security related things. So the user may just observe the data what it is going on, and he can just read the data and misuse the data. So there are some attackers, they can even manipulate the data. Okay, so if I am sending 101, so this particular user can manipulate this particular data. Okay, so this is where the condition, so the encryption and decryption concept arised. Okay, so where the sender is going to encrypt the data, so the sender is not going to send the plain text data. Okay, if that is the case, there may be possibility of security issues. So it has to be encrypted using different algorithms are there, RSA algorithm. You can just you will be learning those things later. If you have a curiosity what are the security algorithms, you can just go through that. Okay, so normally the standard one, RSA algorithm, any algorithm that can be used for encryption. Okay, but once again lot of challenge arises. So if you are using some good technique of securing the data, okay, using particular algorithm, the hackers are also at the same time they are very intelligent to decode that data also, encrypted data. Okay, or ciphertext I have explained in chapter 2. Okay, after encryption, so whatever the plain text you have, this will be converted into ciphertext. Okay, that cannot be read by any of the users, it can be decrypted only at the receiver side. So they will be having some agreement. Okay, so how the sender is encrypted, okay, he will be sharing that information to the receiver to decrypt the data at the receiver side. Okay, so that all comes under security part. So here, whenever the data is traveling, I'm not going in detail about this. If you have a curiosity to know how security algorithm works, you just go through that in internet, you will get it. As of now, we are not going to discuss the security, but that is one of the major consideration you need to take care whenever the data is transmitted through air as the media. Okay, possibility of the attacker can read or they will be observing what data I am sending. Okay, so this is like there are a lot of challenges. If you are interested the security as your domain to do some project, you can start using simple C coding. You can do a lot of things. Okay, first you need to understand the theory part. What is security? Why security? Okay, what are the challenges? See, whatever the difficulty your like day to day life, you will be like listening to the security issues. So this particular site is hacked. So this much of data is they've taken, like so many information you will be reading in the newspaper or some media. Okay, so security is one of the very challenging task. So even whatever the complex algorithm you use, at the same time the hackers are very intelligent to decode it and they will be observing. Okay, it's a very interesting subject, the security related network security. So whenever if you get time, you can go through that, or maybe in the higher semester you will learn. Okay, so yes, so what is the main goal is, because we are sharing the air as the media, so interception by the attackers should be taken care. So what is the solution here? So now how this is my goal, okay, because I'm using air as a media to transmit data and I need to take care of the attacker. So now what is the technique I need to use? What may be the solution to overcome this problem? So the solution is use a spread spectrum technique to add redundancy. Okay, so redundancy means the extra information. Okay, whatever I have, if I want to send, I'm just giving not exactly to this. If I want to send this, maybe in the further chapter we will learn what is the meaning of redundancy. Okay, if I want to send this data, if I send directly the same data through the media, possibility of the third person or the other person other than the receiver will be able to decode and they misuse this data. They will be able to read this data. So now instead of just sending like this, I can just add some technique. Okay, I'll be just adding some technique to send this data. Okay, so like I'm just adding some extra bit. You can just see I have added zeros at the start and end of the string. Okay, if not a string, the data. Okay, so this is one technique. So if even the what type of redundancy you are going to add, that also matters for the security. Okay, so add the redundancy. We will learn how redundancy is added in the spread spectrum, what type of technique is used. So here just understand redundancy means adding some extra information to my original data. Okay, so they spread the original spectrum needed for each of the station, and whatever the data here I'm representing in digital, so you are just converted into the analog signal and that is transmitted. Okay, is it clear what is spread spectrum? So this is one of the technique by adding the redundancy. So they spread the original spectrum and that is needed for each of the stations. To the link, then all the 5 stations should do the same procedure. Okay, you can just observe. So this is the definition of spread spectrum. That means this is the bandwidth of the input signal. Okay, so represented with B, and this signal is passed through the a particular unit or a circuit. So that is called a spreading process. It is going to spread this particular bandwidth. Okay, so for that we have different technique. So by adding those spreading code, it will spread the bandwidth, and whatever the output I'm going to get after this process, we call it as a spread bandwidth. Okay, so this is the bandwidth I got after applying the spread spectrum technique. So you can just observe the bandwidth of this input signal is changed to this BSS. So BSS stands for bandwidth of spread spectrum. Okay, so here you are just adding additional code here for the incoming input bandwidth of the signal, and that is changed to BSS. So here always the BSS is greater than bandwidth B of the input signal. Okay, this is clear. So BSS is always greater than the B. Okay, so if the required bandwidth for, so are you people are following what I am explaining? Okay, so I will give one more analogy here. So consider if you want to send a parcel or some gift to your friend. Okay, so that gift may be a little bit delicate, and also it is some expensive gift you want to send. Okay, so do you just wrap it and you will send to the through courier or post, or you will take care of like a packing? If it is delicate, then you have to take care of some method or something you have to use to make a special box for that, because it is delicate and expensive. So you will use some thermocol, okay, to protect the device or the gift, and you will put into a box. Then you will wrap with an envelope and you will post it. Okay, so just to avoid damage during transportation. Okay, so this is the analogy we are going to use in spread spectrum. Okay, so I am not just sending the signal as it is. So I am just packing this with some extra information and I am sending, so that it will ensure that there will be no damage with the signal that is coming through the or transmitted through the link. Is it clear? So this is how the spread spectrum works. Always remember, this is a simple example or the analogy you can remember to understand how spread spectrum works. Okay, you will not just take a gift and you will just put it into the courier with a just simple envelope. No, you will not do it. Depending on what is the type of gift you want to send. Okay, if it is delicate, then you have to take care of extra things. Okay, just take the box, put some thermocol or some other material so that it will protect that particular gift. So similarly, so whenever if you want to send the data, so in such cases, you are going to add some of the redundancy so that the attacker cannot able to try to access the data. Okay. So if it is protected to some level of extension, we can ensure that the data is protected when it is transmitting through the media. So if the required bandwidth of each station is B, okay, and spread spectrum expand it to BSS. Okay, so that's what it is shown in the diagram, previous diagram. Okay, so how I got BSS? So by using this spreading process. So we'll be discussing what is this spreading process, how it is done. So you'll be just adding some extra redundancy and it is changed to a BSS. Okay, so what are the main two goals you are going to achieve using this spread spectrum? So to achieve this goal, so that is the goal. What is the goal I told? So the station must be able to share the media without interception by the attacker. Okay, so there should not be any interception by the attacker. For that, what is the principle you need to follow? So here the first principle, there are two principles. The first principle tells the bandwidth of allocated to each station need to be by far. Okay, whatever the bandwidth you're going to allocate for each of the stations, okay, it should be far distance, larger larger than what is needed. Okay, so this is allows the redundancy. So if it requires just 2 MB of bandwidth, but it should be increased because you are adding more redundancy to the data. So in that case, the bandwidth required is going to be more, and that you have to take care when you are doing or using the technique of spread spectrum. So spreading process must occur after signal is created by the source. Okay, so this is the diagram. Okay, so this is a signal. Consider from here you will be able to get the signals. Okay, and that should be passed through the spreading process. Okay, so here it is going to do this spreading of this particular signal, and you will be getting the output of a spread spectrum. Okay, so here what happens after the signal is created by the source? Source means the input device. Okay, whichever the device want to transmit the data through that particular media or to that particular link. So it has to take care of spreading process. So what exactly happens in spreading process? One is use spreading code. You will come to know what is spreading code. So these are the codes used for adding the redundancy. Okay, so it will increase if you are sending 5 bits. By adding this, it may be increased to 10 bits. Okay, so spreading code should be added. So during spreading process, I am telling, during spreading process, it will uses the spreading code and spread the bandwidth. Okay, it will spread the bandwidth. What is the meaning of spread the bandwidth? Shows, I will just show one diagram. So how exactly the bandwidth is spreaded so that the attacker cannot able to attack and read the data that is transmitting through the media. Okay, so what exactly is spreading code here? So spreading code indicates a series of numbers that look random but are actually a pattern. Okay, so for sender and receiver, they will be knowing what is the pattern, but the third person or the attacker cannot able to decode. So what is the pattern it is used? Okay, so they will be able to just check it as a random number, but actually it will be following some particular pattern. Okay, so this is all about the spread spectrum. So what is spread spectrum? Okay, what is the goal? What are the principles need to be followed? Let me just go with the first method. There are two types. One is frequency hopping spread spectrum, and the second one is direct sequence spread spectrum. So in short, we call it as DSS and FHS. Okay, so it in the question paper they may ask this topic for 6 to 8 marks. Okay, 6 to 8 marks just for explanation. So what is spread spectrum? Explain different types. Or if they're asking only one method, then you have to explain in detail. Okay, so let's start with the first method. So this technique uses m different carrier frequencies. So by this time, I want everybody should be knowing what is carrier frequency. Okay, so in the last chapter, I use this repeatedly. What is carrier frequency? Okay, so with the help of carrier frequency, whatever the input signal you want to send, so that carrier frequency is going to carry the signal and it will deliver to the destination, and that should be demodulated at the receiver side. Demodulation means it has to remove the carrier frequency. Okay, if you don't know what is carrier frequency, just go back to the previous chapter and check it. So here uses m different carrier frequency. That means you are not using only one carrier frequency. You will be using m different carrier frequency to modulate the incoming signal. So at one moment the signal modulates one carrier frequency. Okay. So at one moment, that means at one particular time, the signal modulates one carrier frequency. At the next moment, the signal modulates with other carrier frequency. That means each time, so for each of the signal, it will be using different carrier frequency. Okay, so maybe it is difficult to like usualize. See, whenever some of the things, when I'm explaining, you can try to usualize. Let me just, visualization purpose, I am just showing this. So this is how your signals are spreaded. Okay, and it is called as frequency hopping. Okay, you cannot, so this is whatever the signals you can see here, the orange color boxes indicates it's a signal. It is not sent like in a single line or with the same frequency. If that is the case, there is a possibility of attacker can read it easily. So now the first part of the signal comes used frequency 700, the next part of the signal used 900. Okay, so like that each time it is using different frequencies. So this is one cycle, so that is one set of data. So the same thing it is going to repeat for the next cycle. So that is called as spreading. Okay, so you can just see here our data is spreaded, and it is also called hopping, frequency hopping. Why? Here I am using spread spectrum with respect to frequency. Okay, you can just see these are all the frequencies. These are all the frequencies. And hopping indicates like it is not using the same frequency continuously. So each interval of time it is changing the carrier frequency for that incoming input signal. Okay, so even if the attacker want to check what is the data is going on, okay, he'll be able to read only piece of data. So you cannot the attacker cannot catch what is the complete data that is transmitted. So that is one advantage of this FHSS. Okay, so let me just, so that's why I told, so here we are going to use different frequencies. Each time the carrier frequency is going to be changed. So although modulation is done using
Ma'am,
carrier, yes, yes, who is that?
ma'am,
Any
it's
issue?
9:30, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So I told her to remind me because I wanted to give the quiz for the previous chapter. So let me just assign the quiz immediately. I want everybody to take it. Okay. So in the next class, I will finish both the methods. Very easy concept it is. No need to worry. So let me just to host the assignment.